Alrighty guys, welcome back to the reaction show guys, welcome back. This is huge 2026 MacBook updates for new models. Guys, I got some news. I actually bit the bullet. I bit the bullet, man. I bit the bullet. You guys might ask, why did you bite the bullet over? I got a new MacBook. I got the MacBook M7. I'm kidding, it's not. Nah, I bit the bullet though. I got the MacBook Air M4 chip. I got it. I got it, man. I got it. Got the MacBook M4. MacBook Air M4. Just because I'm going to be editing a lot more. Because I don't like editing on my desktop. I prefer to edit on the laptop. So then that way I can upload more for you guys and stuff like that. So yeah. Bit the bullet, got the MacBook Air M4. I was thinking about getting the A18 MacBook, but I'm like, you know what? Just bite the bullet, P, and get the M4, man. And 4's my favorite number, so I'm like, you know what? Let's do it, and let's get it. So, I got my Mac Mini, M2, and now I got the M4, so yeah. So, gonna be editing a lot more, uploading a lot more, so you guys, stay tuned to this channel. Anyway, this is 4 new models of the MacBooks for next year, so yeah. I literally could have waited for the M5, but it's like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. M4's still new. Yeah, I didn't want to get the budget MacBook. I'm like, you know what? Just bite the bullet and get an M chip. Because the A chip might, A chips are really strong though, but really good. But it's as fast as the M1. The A18 Pro, the A18, I think it's the A18 Pro is as fast as the M1 chip, so I bit the bullet and I got the M4, so yeah, I got it, so I got it for editing, so stay tuned, you guys, there's going to be so much more videos on this channel. I'm going to be uploading like 3 a day, as I did for a while, so just going to do it, just going to grind, just always going to grind, we're going to grind this out. So stay tuned to this channel. This channel's going to be a facade. Let's check this out anyway. I'm going to stop talking. But yeah, got the iPad. I got the MacBook Air M4. I think I'm going to sell my iPad Air M3 chip. iPad Air. I think I'm going to sell that because I don't need it anymore. And I got the Magic Keyboard. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's get into this. And yeah, let's go.
2025 was not really a great year for the MacBook. We only got an M4 MacBook Air chip refresh,
but I wasn't sure.
M5 MacBook Pro chip refresh.
It's so cool.
That's it for the whole calendar year.
Having a MacBook is awesome.
2026 is shaping up to be an absolute banger with not 1, not 2, potentially not even 3, but as many as 4 new MacBook announcements. That is pretty nuts, and I'm not going to make you wait for it. Here's what we're expecting in the next year. First off, we're probably going to get an M5 chip refresh to the MacBook Air within the next 3 to 4 months. And in that timeline as well, I would expect to see M5 Pro and Max updates for the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro. Honestly, kind of thought that we would have had those by now, but here we are. But then we start to ramp things into high gear with a new low-cost MacBook expected sometime around the middle of 2026. This thing is expected to cost $700 to $900, be extremely thin and light and powered by an iPhone chip. And I'll tell you what, I'm super excited to see that thing. This is Apple's first time making a laptop under $1,000. But then to top it all off, we can expect to see the next generation of MacBook Pro with a whole new design, OLED displays, and a lot more. There's a lot to unpack here, so I want to get into all of it, but we'll start chronologically with what I would expect to come out first. And that is going to be an updated MacBook Pro.
Really?
Now, it would be unusual for Apple to do 2 MacBook Pro updates.
The only thing I don't like about the MacBook Air is it actually does heat up quite a bit. Should have got the MacBook Pro, because the MacBook Pro has a fan. This one does not have a fan, so it's like, it does heat up a little bit, but I don't know. I don't think it's a bit of an issue. I don't really think it's a big issue. It just heats up a little bit. I can feel the warmth underneath the laptop, but anyway, let's get back into this.
Dates within the same year, but this wouldn't be the first time. Back in 2023, Apple surprised us by launching M2 Pro and Max MacBook Pros in January, and then updating them again with the M3 Pro and Max later that same year. Now, right off the bat, I can tell you, with this being the last update for this generation of MacBook Pro, I will probably not be recommending that you go out and buy them, but I do think the performance here is going to be extremely, extremely good. I mean, the M5 chip has already proved itself to be a very strong performer, and if we apply those same gains to the M5 Pro, I don't think it's a stretch to say that the M5 Pro chip will more than likely beat out the M4
Apple works
Max.
for Tony Stark,
and
man.
That is pretty nuts.
They work for
now,
Tony.
What remains to be seen is if Apple is going to mess around with the core configurations. For the M4 Pro and Max, they kind of buffed the Pro chips, giving them more cores compared to the M3 Pro, but the M4 Max stayed the same. What that did was close the gap between the Pro and the Max chips. But whatever they decide to do, I think we will likely see those computers within the next 1 to 2 months. So stay tuned, and of course, be sure to get subscribed if you want to see my reviews of those machines. So next up, let's talk MacBook Air, right after a word from today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by CleanFox Mail Cleaner. If you're anything like me, you probably wake up to around 750,000 junk emails. Well, CleanFox connects to all mailboxes like Gmail, Yahoo, iCloud, Outlook, and more, and it can scan and detect newsletter subscriptions, spam emails, and other junk to easily delete and unsubscribe in bulk. It provides super easy categorization to see the mailing lists that you're on, and they have a super easy swipe interface to categorize these emails. No more manually deleting spam or hunting through emails to find those hidden unsubscribe buttons. CleanFox makes everything super easy. It's completely free and trusted worldwide with more than 5 million active users. And it works on both mobile and desktop to keep your inbox sorted and free of clutter. So save yourself a ton of time and effort by getting started with CleanFox.
Sponsor.
So check out the link in the description below.
Check the link down in the description below, guys.
Now let's get back to the video. So with M5 Pro and Max MacBook Pro refreshes, I think the next or potentially simultaneous update that we can expect would be a new MacBook Air. Now for some context here, the current generation MacBook Air launched with the M2 chip at WWDC of 2022.
No, it didn't. It's the M4.
But the last 2 chip upgrades for the M3 and M4 chip both came in March. So it seems likely to me that Apple would do the same again, giving us an M5 chip in about March of next year. Now, in terms of a redesign, we have heard some inklings of a next generation MacBook Air in development.
I don't mind the notch.
There's been talks of
OLED
displays, but given that Apple tends to stagger the MacBook Air behind the rest of the lineup, I mean, the M5 MacBook Pro is already out, and it's probably going to be 4 months before we see it in the MacBook Air. I think the same will be true for a
might be
redesign.
true.
So, for an M5 MacBook Air, that is something that I would be more inclined to recommend because it will probably be current or at least not outdated for a year or two. And since we're on the topic of timelines, I think it's time to bring in our new category of MacBook. So this is something that I'm really excited
the A18 Pro.
Apple is expected to introduce a budget, low-cost MacBook. This would represent the first time that they have...
I was thinking about getting it, but I'm like, you know what, just bite the bullet and get the M4. It's a better chip. It's better. So, just get it. It's in the middle ground, you know? I like being in the middle. Not too cheap or not too, like, you know what I mean? Or not the best, just being in the middle. I like being in the middle. But anyway, let's get back into it.
Entered the sub $1,000 laptop category.
It's best to be in the middle.
This thing is going to be
Understand
aimed at
both sides.
cheap Windows laptops, Chromebooks, stuff like that. And while a lot of details are still unclear about this MacBook, here's what we know right now. The expected price point is going to be somewhere from $700 to $900. It is expected to feature the A18 Pro chip, so this would be the first time a non-M chip is powering a macOS operated device. As for the screen size, I think Apple learned from their mistakes with the 12-inch MacBook. What we're hearing is that it is expected to be a 13-inch LCD display, but with a slightly smaller screen area than the MacBook Air. Now you might be wondering, how would Apple make a 13-inch laptop that's smaller than a 13-inch laptop? Well, the 13-inch MacBook Air is actually 13.6 inches diagonally, so theoretically Apple could shave like 0.4, 0.5 of an inch off of that, make the bezels thicker, and still call it a 13-inch MacBook. It's also expected to use a slightly lower-end LCD than what we currently have. Not sure exactly what that means. Maybe the brightness and the contrast and the colors won't be quite as...
Lucky I got the Air then. Lucky I got the MacBook Air M4.
vivid as what we have right now. But I don't think it's going to be too much of a sacrifice because this is
love
still
technology.
Apple that we're talking about, and they don't do crap
love
screens.
it, guys.
And because it's
Tony
using
Stark
an
all the way.
A18 Pro chip, for sure it's going to be fanless, and we're also expecting an ultra-thin, ultra-light design.
Man, I gotta get some freaking Iron Man lights. I gotta light up this whole freaking room, Iron Man style. Let's do it. Let's go.
And it might even come in a couple of fun colors. I've seen silver, blue, pink, and yellow thrown around. So basically, it looks like Apple
I want those
learned their
colors.
mistakes from the 12-inch Retina MacBook back in the day, and they're coming back.
I love how it has a
with
headphone jack.
basically
It's funny.
Everything that we've asked for. It's fanless, but it's powered by Apple Silicon, so it won't have those terrible overheating issues that the 12-inch MacBook did. It's going to be cheaper as well, under $1,000, with some fun colors and a super thin design. I literally cannot wait for this MacBook. I think it is going to be such an interesting device. But there's something else that I think could complicate the scenario in terms of a value proposition. If this thing launches at, let's say, $799, you can already get an M4 MacBook Air for less than that. For the past month or two, Best Buy and Walmart and a bunch of others have been selling the M4 MacBook Air for $750. Frankly, I think it's an unbeatable deal. I've linked it down below if you're interested. But then the flip side of that is if that thing goes on sale for $650, $599, I mean, my goodness. We are going to be eating rich, my boys. So to me, that sounds like the makings of an absolutely banger March event with some new iPads. We could also see that new Apple TV and an updated AirTag, a new MacBook Air, and this budget.
I love
MacBook.
the AirTag.
I think that we'll probably get the MacBook Pro
What is
in
the
a press
AirTag?
release earlier in the year, and then that March event, and that will bring us up to WWDC with, quite frankly, a pretty decent lineup. I think next spring should be a pretty fun time. But now it's time to talk about the big event, the next generation MacBook Pro. So what can we actually expect with this redesign? Well, things have gotten a lot more clear over the last year, and it seems like we are now staring down the barrel of Apple's first ever touchscreen MacBook. That's a pretty big deal and a major shift from
really
where
weird.
Apple has gone with the MacBook up to this point. And they're even working on some absolutely crazy tech to negate the wobble that would inherently happen when you touch the screen of a laptop. Part of that is the thinner display because it will no longer need a mini LED backlight, and also this new reinforced hinge.
What do you guys think
which
about
I'm
that?
very curious to see.
What do you guys think about a touchscreen MacBook? What do you think about that? It's a bit weird, isn't it? There's no point of an iPad. What's the point of an iPad? Well, the iPads have more games than a MacBook, which is kind of interesting. It's interesting. The iPads have more games than a MacBook. It's very interesting. I don't get that, but anyway. What do you guys think about it anyway? Leave it down in the comment below. What do you guys think about touchscreen MacBook? It's interesting, isn't it? I don't know how that would work.
Now, me personally, I've
really
never
don't
really
know.
felt a need for a touchscreen on the MacBook. I'll keep an open mind and
Yeah.
see how it goes, but I'm definitely more excited for the OLED part of
interesting.
that equation. And along with the new display will come a change to what has been a long criticism for a lot of people of the current design MacBook Pro, and that's the notch. We're expecting to replace that now with a hole punch, which may or may
Oh,
not
really?
feature
No
dynamic
way.
island functionality. If I had to guess, I would say that it probably will. I think it would be kind of silly
gonna have a
to
hole punch?
make a hole punch dynamic
What?
island type shape on the MacBook and then not do anything with it. Now, I know what you might be wondering. If we're gonna get a dynamic island on the MacBook Pro, maybe could we get Face ID? Probably not. There's just really not enough evidence to point towards that conclusion. I think we're going to be sticking with Touch ID here. Now, this new design is also expected to be significantly thinner and lighter than what we currently have. And, well, I definitely understood why Apple took the chunky approach to this generation of MacBook Pro, and it absolutely paid off. What we're hearing now is that this new generation is expected to get as thin as possible without compromising battery and thermals. Now, I'd love to know what you guys think about this, because on the one hand, I would absolutely love to see a less bulky 16-inch MacBook Pro. I've switched completely over to 14s because the 16 is just so big. So on that front, I could definitely see myself wanting a more portable but still large screen 16-inch MacBook. But on the other hand, I could also see
I
going
got
towards, hey,
I also got the 13-inch MacBook, so mine's a 13-inch, so just wanted to let that know. Since
Keep
he's
it the
talking
same
about
size.
inches.
Make the thermal overhead just absolutely nuts, and the battery's absolutely huge. So let me know in the comments which direction you think Apple should go. But now we got to talk about the chips that are actually going to power these things, because the M5 Pro and Max that we're expecting are going to be a continuation of the M5 chip that we already know about. But the M6 is also shaping up to be kind of a banger. The M6 MacBook chips are expected to feature TSMC's new 2nm process, and they're using wafer-level
No
multi-chip
way.
packaging.
They are?
WMCM.
I don't even know what that
We'll
is.
first see this technology on the A20 and A20 Pro chips, which will come out in September for the iPhone. But my understanding of this technology
true.
is that it
I
integrates
forgot.
multiple chips in the same package, which
forgot.
could allow for a lot more complexity, modularity, and scaling. When you go out and buy an M4 Max, for example, you can pick between the binned version, 14 and 32 cores, or the full version, 16 and 40. And basically, this is printed as a single monolith.
Whoa, what? 40 core? Wow, that's big. That's quite impressive. That's quite impressive. 32 gig unified memory, 48 gig unified memory, man. 48 gig. Fuck.
Chip, and any imperfections with that die
That's a
are
beast.
countered by disabling some
Mine's
of
a
the
16
cores. That
gig
gets
memory,
us the binned version. And this
RAM.
is part of the reason
RAM
why
16
when
gig.
you want to buy
Still
the
good,
full
though.
Max
Freaking
chip, or
mint.
even more so, the Ultra chips, they get so expensive because you need this monolithic chip where every single core has to be flawless, and in the case of the Ultras, you need 2 of those. But with this new process, what this could allow is for Apple to make the CPUs and the GPUs and the DRAM and the neural engines all with separate little chiplets that can also then be vertically stacked to make it more compact. And all of this is done on the wafer before it is diced into the individual chips. So this could make it a lot easier for Apple to scale up their chips.
Wait, what the
And
heck?
I'm not 100% sure how this technology works, but I think
That's pretty
this
cool.
could mean that we no longer need to glue 2 Max chips together to get an Ultra, because theoretically with this chiplet you could just kind of scale it out on the wafer level, as the name implies. But the long and the short of it is, this is going to be a fairly major architectural level improvement to Apple Silicon chips. We're not just talking about, running the cores a little bit faster or tweaking the design. This is a new process and a new manufacturing style. So I think the M6 chip, even if it's not a huge performance champion, it could be an efficiency champion. It could be a scalability champion. We could get an M6 Ultra with way more cores and way more efficiency than we've had in the past. And all of that is coming off the heels of what is already a really nice generation of chip with the M5. So overall, this new generation of MacBook Pro is looking like an absolute screamer, and 2026 as a whole looks really, really good. I'm really excited to see what we get next year. And I mean, heck, we could be starting this train as soon as January or February with the M5 Pro and Max. So whatever the case may be, make sure to get subscribed, follow along for more. Let me know if you found this video helpful. And of course,
Alright guys, that was it. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about touchscreen MacBook Pro? Let me know. It's interesting, isn't it? A touchscreen MacBook. What's the point of an iPad then? What's the point of an iPad? Well, I said it before, they got more games and stuff. And the Apple Pencil and stuff like that. And yeah. Imagine the MacBook having an Apple Pencil. Oh, it is interesting. That is weird. That is really weird. I think people would just buy a MacBook then instead of an iPad. Just buy a MacBook instead. Yeah, you guys let me know, man. What do you guys, anybody getting a new MacBook next year? By the time I'm reacting, this is still 2025. Got 2 more days left. Yeah, let me know. Yeah, guys. Yeah, let me know. New MacBooks. Interesting. Yeah. Touchscreen MacBook. It's very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my reaction to this. Drop a like if you guys did enjoy it, for sure. yeah, let me know if you guys are getting a new MacBook or anything like that. Leave it down in the comments below. Subscribe. Make sure your notification bell is on. Make sure the notification bell is on. Stay tuned for the next video that I'm going to do, next reaction or whatever it's going to be. I got to get Cyberpunk. I got to get a few games. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.